I know. Any New Zealanders in the room? Kinda? What do you mean kinda in New Zealand? Oh, okay. It's an Australian. Yeah, wannabe. Yeah, lovely. Hey, the change I'd love to see in education. When we think about the change ahead, when we think about the 21st century, but then we go back further and think about the reason education started, and this mass education. This idea that the teacher was the font of all knowledge. The teacher was the person who had been educated. The teacher was the person who had read the books, maybe had been the person who travelled and therefore had earned the right to be at the front of a room to be able to teach others. And then we think about centuries later that how education has changed and how access to education has changed. And there's a word that is broadcasted around education right now, ubiquitous. And that education is a very ubiquitous endeavour. And so I'd invite you to turn to the person next to you, and if they look intelligent, ask them this question. What is ubiquitous? What does it mean for education to be ubiquitous? Go.
Pretty woman, walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet. Pretty woman, I don't believe you, you're not the truth.
Okay. Well, let's see. The good-looking person next to you, how well they did. You see, ubiquitous means that learning can be... Am I coming in the right direction? We just stopped.
You probably need to go around.
It's not ubiquitous.
It's not ubiquitous. How about Christina? Anytime, it can be with anyone, anywhere, and any place. It's not within the four walls of a classroom anymore. Access to education is global, worldwide, anytime, anywhere, 24 hours a day. And so this idea that we really want to be able to reframe what goes on in education, reframe this idea of the purpose of what we do in the classroom. So one of the changes I would love to see is that as educators and as students, we all become continual learners. That it's all about constant growth, constant being able to be better than we were before, constant looking at ourselves and growing and growing and growing. Because you see, here's what I see in the 18 countries I've had the pleasure of working with. I see students who have learned helpless. I see students who don't know how to move forward when they're stuck. I see students who don't know how to find the answer when the answer isn't immediately apparent. And they're sitting there waiting for us as educators to tell them. And my dream, and it has been for 22 years, is that students were taught how to learn. So dovetailing off what Mark was talking about. They were taught how to learn and be continual learners for the rest of their life. You see, many of our students are learned helpless because the parents have bubble wrapped them. Do you have bubble wrapped children in your classrooms? Yeah. Those children who come having not had to experience the difficulties in life because they've been sheltered, very much sheltered. My daughter is learned helpless. When she was born, she had a big brother who was 2.5 years older, and he was such the big, proud big brother. He was so excited to have a little sister, and he did everything for her. He tied her shoelaces. In fact, even before that, he fed her. He talked for her, he changed her, he did everything. I have to say, now they're 16 and 14, it's a very different story. It's more like, get out of my room! Not so beautiful relationship quite yet anymore. But she learned helpless, because she didn't need to do anything for herself. Many of our students are learned helpless because they also have perfectionist parents, or we as educators are perfectionists. We want it done a certain way. or we're in a hurry because we're in this hurry syndrome and everything has to be done quickly. And so it's quicker for us to tie their shoelace rather than to give them the time to actually do it. Many of our students are learned helpless because we as educators rescue too fast. When I'm in classrooms and I'm doing model lessons and showing teachers how your students could be, and modelling some of the techniques and the ideas, what I see is, and what teachers reflect back at the end, is how when the students are struggling and the students are having a task that's challenging, how the teachers just want to jump in and do it for them, and that we want to rescue too fast. So, this idea that we need to think about as continual learners. Do we have a closed mind or an open mind to new ideas? Do our students have a closed mind or an open mind to new ideas? One of the things I've been fortunate enough to do for the last 21 years is to teach students how to study to pass exams. And I have a 2-day course that has a 100% guarantee that you'll pass every exam you sit. And it's a pretty exciting experience to be able to just teach students how to learn, because it's about technique. And so the most important study tip I teach in that arena, in that course, is study tip number 3. And study tip number 3 is to learn the information you don't know. Is to go over things you don't know and learn those. And how do you know what you don't know? Well, in a secondary situation, when you've had a test, when you've had an assignment, when you've done a practice test, it's getting those tests back and learning what you got wrong. That's what learning is. And so being able to help students to understand that that's where they need to work. But let me ask you this, how many of you are list writers? Who here in the room is a list writer? Have you ever done this? Have you ever gone to cross something off your list and it's not there? What do? You write it on just so you can cross it off. Well, there's no logical reason for this, but there is a physiological reason. You see, when you cross something off the list, it makes you feel good. It sends endorphins through your brain and makes you feel good. And this is what students do. They go and they practice the things they already know because it makes them feel good. I know that. Gosh, I'm clever. Gosh, I'm smart. Gosh, I'm amazing. We do it as educators as well. We keep teaching the same techniques because we know they're successful. But it's when we start doing the things that we don't know, that's when it's hard. And the internal voice changes to, what if I can't do this? What if it's difficult? I want to quit. And they start going down into this learning pit. And they start questioning how smart they are. And we try new techniques in the classroom and, you know, it might not quite work the way we thought it was going to, and oh, what will someone think about me as an educator, as a teacher? So, I believe part of our task, and what I'd love to see the change, is that we really educate students about that learning is doing the hard work, and that they're going to fail. And it's okay to fail, because that's where we learn from. I love the concept that engineers have failure conferences. Engineers sit around and talk about the things that haven't worked. Not so they can wallow in the pity of it, but so they can actually now learn from it and not repeat the mistakes that other people are making. But fail meaning the first attempt in learning. Being able to make sure that they know if they don't get the result they want, they just need to learn what they got wrong, and that's where we increase. That's where the constant growth happens. You see, one of the mantras my students talk about is everything is hard before it is easy. Anything that you are good at now was once hard. So, the more we do the hard, the easier it gets. You've got to work through the hard to get to the easy. We didn't all just stand up and walk. We had to fall down, cry, scrape our knees a few times, and then we started to learn to walk. And it's the same with education. In New Zealand, we're just halfway through spring and coming into our summer. And we have these beautiful monarch butterflies that flutter around our summer. and you probably have beautiful butterflies where you're from too. But did you know that if you help the butterfly out of the cocoon, it will die? Because it's the struggle that makes it strong. It's the struggle that strengthens the wings and allows it to fly. And so, do you let your students struggle, or do you rescue them really quickly? Do you let them make those mistakes and learn from them, or do you try and save them from that? See, because my dream would be that we allow students to know that's part of the process and that we explicitly teach them that. You see, it takes courage as an educator to step back and allow children to fail. It takes courage for us to try new techniques in the classroom, to take what you learn from a conference and test them out. But I also love what Brené Brown says. With courage means we have to go through vulnerability. And I believe this is a really important part of us as educators, to be able to be vulnerable and to say we don't know, because we're no longer the font of all knowledge. We're no longer the sage on the stage who know everything. We're the ones who need to be able to facilitate that learning. So being able to say to our students, you know, I don't know. How might we find out? And to be able to walk through that vulnerability as an educator, I think is a really important part. So we have to be careful as educators not to be complacent, not to continue to do the things we've always done, because we get the results we've always got. And so being able to try these new ideas, educate our students in a way that's going to allow them to be these continual learners. Because there's a wealth of information out there for you and I. And you're going to learn some at this conference, in the books that you read, in the CDs that you listen to, in the videos that you watch. And we have access to so much right now. And for us to be continual learners. And so it's time for action, to be able to change what we do, because the students in your classroom are growing up in a very different world. And you've probably heard this phrase over and over and over again, but I think it is really important that we talk to our students and we remember for ourselves, are we educating them for our past or for their future? Because their future is a very different future from the one that we had when we were in school. We know right now that 2 billion jobs will be gone from this planet by 2030. We know right now that 60% of the jobs that your students are going to go into aren't around right now. We also know that 40% of the 5-year-olds will be self-employed. It requires a very different education model. It requires that they are continual learners and that we as educators are continual learners. You see, your job as a teacher is to make every other profession possible. That's what we do as educators. We make every other profession possible. You do that every single day. It is the single most important job on this planet. So, in your classrooms, you have the future in your hands. Make sure they know how to be a continual learner. Thank you.